Liu Bei's image has been fraught with controversy throughout history, sometimes displaying a loyal and righteous side, while other times engaging in despicable acts. His reputation for benevolence that can perhaps be traced back to his time in Jingzhou. After all, a person's goodness or evil cannot be revealed in a short moment. Only through long-term interaction can one discern their true nature. At that time, Liu Bei was defeated by Cao Cao and forced to flee south to Jingzhou to seek refuge with his relative, Liu Biao. Liu Biao treated Liu Bei with great care, not only sheltering his remaining troops, but also granting him a city to rest and recuperate. Thereafter, Liu Biao did not disdain Liu Bei, but actively invited him to participate in Jingzhou affairs. When Liu Biao became seriously ill, he even considered entrusting Jingzhou to Liu Bei. While it is unknown whether Liu Biao concealed assassins in his corridors, Liu Bei had no intention of accepting the offer. Knowing his two sons' limited abilities, Liu Biao did not want the Liu family's legacy to fall into the hands of others. Perhaps he genuinely hoped that Liu Bei would take over Jingzhou. However, Liu Bei, fearing the potential for criticism, declined the offer. Liu Biao still had two sons alive, one impetuous and ignorant, the other young and inexperienced. But Liu Bei could have assisted them. To replace them would have been unkind. At this point, Liu Bei still considered himself influential in Jingzhou. But with Liu Biao's death, his position was immediately lost. Without Liu Biao's eldest son, Jingzhou fell into the hands of the young Liu Kan, young and ignorant. Liu Cong relied on his uncle, Kai Mao, for everything. Kai Mao and Zhang Yun were Cao Cao spies, making Liu Bei a natural thorn in their side. Without hesitation, they betrayed Liu Bei and handed Jingzhou to Cao Cao. If Liu Biao knew about this, he would likely be furious. During his campaigns, Cao Cao frequently massacred cities and innocent people, accumulating countless sins. When Liu Bei was still under Tao Qian's command in Xuzhou, Tao Qian ignored Liu Bei's advice that insisted on joining forces with Gongsun Zian to attack Cao Cao's Yanzhou, ultimately failing. Cao Cao counterattacked, quickly capturing over a dozen cities and slaughtering hundreds of thousands of civilians. In the eyes of the people, Cao Cao was not a hero, but a cold-blooded killer. Now, upon hearing that he had become the ruler of Jingzhou, the people were naturally terrified and fled. At least, Liu Bei wouldn't exterminate them all. Liu Bei had been with Tao Qian during Cao Cao's massacre, and he was well aware of his brutality. Knowing Cao Cao would slaughter them all, he fled with them. Some claim Liu Bei was using the civilians that ate as hostages to intimidate Cao Cao. This is utter nonsense. How could Cao Cao be deterred by such a minor incident? The number of civilians who fled with Liu Bei was a mere drop in the bucket compared to Cao Cao's army. While fleeing with his people, the romance of the Three Kingdoms adds another legendary story to Liu Bei's story. The well-known story of Liu Bei throwing a dew. At the time, a dew and his mother were caught by Cao Cao's army and on the verge of capture. Zhao Yun single-handedly charged into the enemy camp, in and out of the enemy lines 7 times, and finally rescued a dew. However, when Zhao Yun handed the child to Liu Bei angrily threw the child to the ground. He raged at the infant. "Because of you, I almost killed one of my great generals. What had the infant Adu done wrong?" Liu Bei's words were clearly not meant for Adu, but for the people around him. This act earned him a reputation as a talent seeker and earned the lifelong loyalty of several of his brothers. If Liu Bei's actions were truly a display of affection, he would certainly not have murdered his meritorious officials in the future. However, this is merely a hypothesis. After obtaining Jingzhou, Liu Bei immediately committed a highly criticized act, forcibly seizing Liu Zhang's Zizhou. Recalling the past, on Liu Biao's deathbed, Liu Bei, ashamed of usurping the property of a fellow clan member, resolutely refused Liu Biao's offer of Jingzhou, earning him widespread praise. However, what was his intention now? Under the guise of aiding the enemy in battle, he brazenly seized Zizhou. Liu Zhang had sincerely invited him to help, but could he have foreseen such a heavy price to pay? From then on, Liu Bei bore the stigma of usurping his clan's inheritance and was viewed as a fickle villain. This demonstrates that Liu Bei was a man who would resort to any means necessary to achieve his goals. Now, in his quest for a foothold, he had already violated his principles. Will he again cross the line to consolidate his rule once he ascends the throne? It's hard to predict. If the Shu Han soldiers had survived and successfully defeated Cao Wei and Sun Wu, restoring the Han dynasty, Liu Bei's first targets would likely have been Guan Yu, Ma Chao, and Wei Yan. These three were undoubtedly indispensable forces in the quest for unification. But they did not reassure Liu Bei. Of the 3 brothers, the third brother, Zhang Fei, was the most tactful, followed by Liu Bei, a relative of the Han royal family. Guan Yu, however, was known for his straightforward nature, making him unsuitable for a high-ranking official position. By the time Liu Bei ascended the throne, Guan Yu would likely have become a general so powerful that his soldiers would only obey his orders, not the emperor's, much like Zhou Yafu during the Western Han dynasty. Thus, Liu Bei would undoubtedly have sought an opportunity to eliminate Guan Yu and eliminate this destabilizing factor within the Han dynasty. Besides Guan Yu, Ma Chao was also a skilled commander. Born in Western Yang, he possessed a unique ability to control minority soldiers. However, Liu Bei was unwilling to see Ma Chao become a powerful leader capable of leading an independent army and conquering the world. Therefore, although Liu Bei greatly admired Ma Chao's abilities, He did not want such an influential figure to remain in the court, and therefore would certainly take action against him. The final person who could be killed was Wei Yan. Wei Yan was extremely ambitious. When Liu Bei first entered Yizhou, everyone assumed that Zhang Fei would be sent to guard Hanzhong. But Liu Bei appointed Wei Yan as the prefect of Hanzhong instead. When Liu Bei asked Wei Yan about his plans, Wei Yan boldly declared, "If Cao Cao mobilizes the entire nation to attack the city, I will surely withstand it. If Cao Cao attacks with only 100,000 men, I will annihilate him." Liu Bei was delighted and praised Wei Yan profusely. However, if Liu Bei ascended the throne, he would never tolerate the existence that of a man like Wei Yan. He was outspoken, open-minded, and ambitious.